Welcome back, Coleman. This is Traci Johnson with ERA Waldrop Real Estate, and today I have the honor of talking with Jacqueline Schendel of the Better Business Bureau with North Alabama. Thanks, Jacqueline. It's such a pleasure to talk to you today. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Well, thank you, Traci. It's always an honor to be here and talk to you about this. And this is a new platform for me, so
Definitely.
I'm excited about this.
And we're excited about this platform, this website, this community website. We've just gotten such good feedback. So let's learn a little bit about the BBB and what you guys do for the Coleman community. So tell me a little bit about the history.
Well, I thought I would start with that because a lot of people don't understand how the BBB got formed. And in 1906, the Federal Pure Food and Drug Act had been passed by the government, and they had lodged charges against a number of different firms, including Coca-Cola. And they were claiming that they were doing false advertising. And so they went to court, and Mr. Samuel C. Dobbs, who was a sales manager at the time, he was there to kind of represent Coca-Cola. He had an attorney, of course, and they were talking about these different charges. And so the charges ended up being dropped. They were unfounded, okay? But the attorney that represented Coca-Cola stated, I'll quote, "While all advertising is exaggerated, nobody really believes it." And so this really made Mr. Dobbs think, wait a second, that's not true.
Yeah.
We shouldn't think like that. And so because of that statement, it started a movement. And in 1912, a committee was formed consisting of 33 businessmen, civic leaders, and university professors. And actually they were known as the Vigilance Committee. How about that?
Okay,
And
so this is 1906
right,
and then 1912.
Right. So
and the Vigilance.
Yes, the Vigilance
What
Committee.
a cool history.
It really is. And so then that was the the foundation for the Better Business Bureau movement. So through the years, the BBB has continued to be the leader in promoting marketplace trust that's now a multinational organization with offices in Canada and Mexico and the United States. So we've kind of branched out all over, and that's why you have the different BBB offices in your different states. Right here in North Alabama, our main office is located in Huntsville, but I have like a branch here in Coleman, and then we have one in Decatur, and then there's one in Florence. So we all answer to our main office in Huntsville. The rest of the state is kind of, if you want to say governed by or controlled by, I don't know, Birmingham. The main office is in Birmingham, and it covers the southern half of the state from Coleman south. So at any rate, we really have focused on being the leader in advancing marketplace trust. Our mission is creating a community of trustworthy businesses, selling standards for marketplace trust, encouraging and supporting best practices, celebrating marketplace role models, and denouncing substandard marketplace behavior.
Okay.
And so we actually literally do have someone who goes through the newspapers and looks through advertisements, and if we see something that we feel like is a false advertisement, even though it's maybe not, the business doesn't necessarily mean to do that, but they're claiming to be the best. Well, if you're the best, where's your proof? Let's back it up. And so we might contact that business and say, look, we saw this ad in the newspaper, you're claiming this, how do you back that up? What can you prove? How can you say that? Could you maybe change that to say one of the best? And that way you're still up there at the top, but you're not claiming to be absolutely the best out of every other business.
You're not deceiving,
right?
You're proving, yes, I am the best because I won.
Right.
What award?
Right.
Okay.
So at any rate, so we do that sort of thing. But of course we have evolved, and we do so much more for the community, okay?
Yes.
And for the businesses. So principal functions of the BBB, a lot of people ask me, well, what does the BBB do? Okay, all right. It's to monitor advertising and selling practices like we just discussed. It's to protect the public from fraud and deceit, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more.
Definitely need to talk about that.
Yes. It's to provide useful and helpful information to the public and schools, and promote consumer education. Okay. To provide factual reports to consumers and businesses upon request concerning businesses and charities. So you can call our office and ask and we can have an example about that a little bit later too.
Wow.
But get more information about this particular business. Is to cooperate, I'll get that out, with law enforcement and regulatory agencies.
Okay.
All right, to facilitate dispute resolutions between the buyer and the seller, to provide information to other bureaus concerning unethical or deceptive practices, and to investigate and act upon complaints of unethical business practices and expose such practices.
Right.
So I'm sure there are probably a lot of people out there that have called or contacted the BBB or gone to our website, bbb.org, and checked out a business.
Yes. Matter of fact, I just did that the other day, because you get phone call after phone call after phone call, and they sound wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a social media advertising, and it just, everything sounded wonderful. And then there was the catch.
Yes.
The catch. It's time to go online
Right.
to the Better Business Bureau, and let's look
Exactly.
at this a little bit more before we give any information out.
Yeah.
And so I was so glad I had that resource available.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
a lot of
as a
people,
safety net for just here at our company, but
Right.
everywhere.
exactly. You're looking for a good plumber, you're looking for a roofer, you're looking for a contractor, okay? Check them out at the bbb.org. Whether they're a member or not, whether they're an accredited business with us or not, we probably have some information about them.
Right.
And if they have a record of being, of not being ethical in their business, it's going to show up on the BBB website,
Yeah.
okay? Like I said, whether they're a member or not. So probably this company you checked on probably
It was
wasn't.
very, very low.
Yes, it probably wasn't
Not-
a member, right?
Exactly.
So,
Not a
but-
member, but
but-
had a very bad reputation.
Yeah.
Everything was poor, and so something had obviously happened that gave me that red flag.
Right.
So it's
yeah.
very comforting to know that that's available.
And it
you
is,
don't.
and we've been here. I know here in in North Alabama over 50 years now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a nice thing to know that you could just go on there and look at it. There's also on our website, it's called the scam, little scam alert icon. If somebody is trying to scam you, we would like for you to be able to report that, so we can keep track of all the
Yes.
different scams and fraudulent activity that's going on.
Right.
So go to that website, bbb.org, click on the scam alert, and then enter your information. Because the more we do this, it's education. It's all about education.
Definitely.
We can never, ever, I'd love to think that the BBB had the authority to stop these scams. That's not going to happen. Police can't do it, especially if it's from another country. We have no legal authority over those people.
Right. Right.
But they are preying on our American citizens, and we'd love to see it stopped.
Mhm.
The best way to stop that is to be educated, just like what you
Definitely,
did.
Definitely be
You
educated.
went to the website, you went to the bbb.org site, you found that these people had a bad reputation, you chose not to do business with them. Good for you. You aren't out a bunch of money or the possibility of being scammed because you said they
Yeah.
wanted your credit card information.
Right.
Okay, so these are things that we have to be aware of. So this is one of our main goals, is to keep people from being scammed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's scary because the things, they sound so good, they're so legitimate, and they prey on these different things, whether it's you've been doing research to buy a house,
Mhm,
because not here at our office, but we know of times where people from out of state have been buying a house in another state, and then they've been located or been contacted to send in money to the closing attorney,
Yes.
and it's not the closing attorney, and they get to closing and all their money's gone,
Yes.
and they can't do anything about it. And so
Right.
there's just so many different things and scams. And I know I love our Coleman County yard sale and our Facebook, all the different things where you can sell. And even then, you get contacted by bogus.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It's a different world now.
It's very, yeah.
People are being I've said this for years. If these people that are so smart in their scamming, if they would just use it for good,
For good,
they
yeah.
could make they could be very profitable in
Oh,
whatever
definitely.
business they chose, because they're
Definitely.
very smart
Mhm.
about how they go about tricking you and their little schemes that they make up.
Mhm.
So nowadays, everybody has got to be aware
Mhm.
of, watching out for what you do. Don't give anybody any information
Right.
over the phone. They prey on the senior citizens because they're
Definitely.
home, they're willing to talk to you. A lot of them this is, if somebody calls them, hey, this is somebody they can talk to today,
Yeah.
so they're willing to talk to these people. But you've got to be aware that a lot of them are just trying to get your information so they can steal your identity. And that's, of course, the biggie now, is stealing your identity or
Right.
stealing your credit card information. One of my jobs is to kind of contact some businesses about credit cards, and so many have told me that their credit cards have been compromised
Yeah.
for whatever reason. And so these are smart, savvy business owners, and their credit card's been,
Right.
So, you can just imagine that little old mom that's sitting at home, granny or whatever, it's very possible that bad things can happen to her too, if it can
Right.
happen to business people and so forth. So
Right.
you just
So
have
we
to be aware.
definitely want to focus on educating, talking to our friends, our
Yes.
family, our parents, our people that are not maybe as computer savvy and don't understand
Yes.
the network that is available now and just the scams that are out there. It's so scary.
Yeah.
So,
So it's just, you need to be aware of that, A couple other things that I did want to point out is, of course, that the BBB does try to give back to the community and do things that they feel like are beneficial to the community.
Mhm.
So we do have fraud summits, okay? We have various different ones at our different locations. I had something at the chamber this year. I collaborated with them. I appreciate the fact that they did that. And so we invited in a panelist to come in, and we invited the community to come in. We even served a free lunch. And so we talked to them about the different types of fraud
Perfect.
and scams that are out there. And we had somebody from the police department, we had the sheriff that was there, we had our CEO from Better Business Bureau, Ms. Elizabeth Garcia, and we also had somebody, I think, from the SEC, and Securities Exchange Commission, not
the SEC football.
no. And then also we had somebody from the local bank, People's Bank, provided us with a speaker.
So wealth of knowledge.
Very much so, and people were allowed to ask questions and get some information, some really good information. So that was good.
That's great to know.
Also, we do what's called Shred Day. And
that was just this past weekend.
Yes,
I saw the truck.
We had our Shred Day, and basically what that is, we allow people to come by, drop off all of their sensitive documents, because there again, you got to be aware that people dig through the trash and get out if you've got a bank statement, it's got everything on there. So you don't want that to be just in your trash. So if you can't shred it, yourself, then this would be a good opportunity. So a lot of people took advantage of it. We had over 6,900 pounds of paper that we collected. We also did a food drive at the same time, and so Javon Daniels, of course, Common Caring for Kids, was there, and he collected, I think, $475, and he also collected over 295 pounds of food.
Wow. Every little bit helps.
It really does.
And $475, he can do so much with that.
He can.
His resources are unbelievable.
Yes, so much more than if we just went to Walmart or something and bought groceries. He can triple that, whatever he can go out and get. And then we also did a drug take back where the police department was involved, and people just came and donated or gave up their old prescription drugs, that kind of thing. So waiting on that, how many pounds that was was collected there, but we appreciate everybody. And I do want to put a little plug in Alabama Archives. They were the ones that actually helped us with the shredding, and they're a great company here in town, and they donated their time, and I really do appreciate that, because we wouldn't be able to do this kind of thing without them. So it was a great event. People just had to drive through. Our Lions Club members, I gotta put a plug in for them. Every year they volunteer and they help me, and they do a great job. And the Leo Club also provided with some some volunteers.
We have some wonderful clubs and wonderful organizations here in Coleman, and just the volunteers and all the resources. And I know that being able to drop the drugs off. I mean, you don't think about those little things, but I know a couple of years ago when my mom passed away, and she had been in a 3-month time frame, she had been in and out of the hospital 6 times, and they kept changing her medicine, and we had all this medication, and
Yeah.
And
What
do you do with it?
You do not want to flush that down the toilet because that gets in the water system. You don't want to just throw it away. It could be that an animal eats it or that somebody else gets a hold of it. So I will give you a little tip though. The police department, the Coleman City Police Department, does have a box out in the front of their in front of their department, and it's there 24/7. It's a metal box, and you can just drop off your old prescription drugs at any time.
Convenient.
Yes,
Super convenient.
Yeah. So that is something that maybe even some of the pharmacies, I had talked to them, some of them didn't even know that existed. So just so you know, please don't just chunk it someplace. Make sure that you dispose of it properly, and I don't know, I think they burn it or whatever they do with it, but they get rid of it properly. So, but anyway, so I wanted to thank everybody that participated. We had a great turnout. It was hot. It was hot.
Definitely.
It was
hot. It is
Yeah.
still hot.
It's still hot. But at any rate, it was great. It was a good day, and we had a good turnout, and thanked everybody. I want to thank everybody that participated. So hope I didn't forget anybody.
Well, Jacqueline, it was a pleasure talking with you this morning and learning all about the BBB, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks, Coleman, for visiting with us today. I hope you learned a little bit about the Better Business Bureau of North Alabama. Definitely want to check out their website. It is bbb.org,
Yes.
bbb.org, and you can look to see all of their upcoming events as well as their scams, their fraudulent alert, things like that. Definitely follow, definitely take a look at it. Anytime you're doing business with anybody that you do not know, take a look at the BBB. Thank you and have a great day.
Thanks, Tracy.